Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Sunday, December 27th, and I have been thinking about ways to share my knowledge, um, and each day I get on YouTube. Sorry. I get on YouTube and I do a daily astrology. Most of the times it occurs early enough in the morning. Sometimes my morning gets away from me and it comes on later in the day. I did have somebody ask, can you please do this like before the actual day? And there's something about the energy of the moment, especially when I'm out in the garden, that I really like to do things spontaneously because I feel as though I'm in the energy and the energy in a way speaks to me, the astrological energy. But I do understand the value of planning and knowing what's coming up. And so I think what I'm going to start to do um, is to do um, a week ahead look at the astrology. Uh, there'll be that. I'll also do a card reading, and I will perhaps if there is something that comes up or something I'd like to discuss, I will do that as well. And I will put timestamps on this so you know what to look at um, when um, when the time comes. So if you just want the astrology, there'll be a timestamp on the astrology. If you just want the card reading, there'll be a card reading. And then if you just want to hear what I have to say, if in fact there is something that I have to say, um, thoughts and ruminations. I think what I'll do is I'll call it thoughts and ruminations because I'm always thinking and I'm always ruminating. Okay, so let's get started with this. So I think the first thing I want to talk about is the astrology of the upcoming week. And here we have a chart for today, December 27th. And it is right around this time, right around noon, a little past noon here on the East Coast of the US, 12:12 to be exact. Well, that's interesting. And so we can see just from the structure, what we see here. One of the things I like to do is look back from the chart and just sort of see where everything is sitting. And we can see that that we have a lot of energy up here in the more collective signs. We have Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. And that is not unusual. This is the time of year when we are in the more collective signs. And when you're in the more collective signs, it requires us to be more cooperative, I think, because the energy of cooperation and working together and a common goal are all seen at this time anyway. And then, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're talking about winter. And historically, winter was when people had to rely on each other much more for survival. Today, we have the major aspect is a trine between the sun here in Capricorn and Uranus. Now, this is not exact yet. It actually is exact at 10:25 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States tonight. But the energy of this trine is here. And when you look at two planets in aspect to each other, you look at the slower moving planet, especially in these mundane charts, the slower moving planet here is Uranus, and the sun actually has made its way all the way around. So the trine that the sun has to Uranus is a Sagittarius side trine. In fact, just from this chart, we can see that Uranus is in the first house and the sun is in the ninth house, bringing up that ninth house energy. We also see that the sun is in a close conjunction 4 degrees, pretty close, to Mercury. All right, and we have Venus here, getting closer to the south node of the moon. Within a few days, Venus will be making a conjunction to that south node of the moon. So what is this aspect about? This aspect is about change. It's about change. And this is a social rewards aspect, social rewards. And so those who have been diligently working towards freedom of some sort, disruption perhaps of some sort, there is a flow now. And so in the best aspects of this is an opportunity for us to connect with our higher self. This is an opportunity for us to free ourselves from constraints that perhaps have been holding us back, especially with the sun in Capricorn. Are you being too responsible in a situation and not freeing yourself? Or is it that this is a better time to sort of take charge of your life? These are all questions that we can see with this aspect, but you can also see how disruptive forces in society have a free flow. And whenever you're dealing with Uranus, you're always dealing with the possibility of some sort of eruption or explosion. So that's just something to be aware of. These energies of the planetary energies there's no moral compass on the planetary energies. The planetary energies are there to be utilized, to be worked with, to be worked through. And it depends on your in particular intention. And so it really does come down to what you're putting out there as to what can manifest from this. And so just be aware that there is an energy of freedom. There's an energy of breaking free. There's also an energy of chaos and chaos and disruption with this. So that's something to be aware of. One of the other things I want to point out, and you'll see this in the chart throughout the whole week, is you see this giant square here. We have an almost exact mutable grand square here between the south node of the moon here in Sag, the north node of the moon in Gemini, Neptune, which has been squaring the nodes of the moon for months and months now. And then we also have on the other side, we have Vesta, and Vesta is an asteroid goddess. Vesta is what we devote ourselves to, and Vesta is in Virgo. And so we're devoting ourselves to service. This is really the whole mutability is about change. Mutability is about dissolution of boundaries so that something new can be born. It is sort of the end of the road, so to speak, before we get to the beginning of the road. And with these energies of Sagittarius and Gemini, we're dealing with facts, we're dealing with beliefs, we're dealing with truth and lies. You add Neptune, which is an energy of dissolution and an energy of confusion, to the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon is our evolutionary edge as we evolve through our emotional body, the moon. And so we are being asked to look at the facts, but the facts are not that clear because of this Neptune. And we also have Vesta on the other side here. And Vesta is asking us to focus on service to others. Vesta is asking us to focus on the medical prescriptions here, right? And so we will see this giant square in the sky throughout the entire week. So you can keep your eyes open for that. So I am going to advance this a day at a time. And it's not going to look like much is moving because this is Now we're in the 28th, and we're around the same time as we were before. And so we can see here that the sun has moved on a bit. The 28th, the major aspects on the 28th are moon aspects. Okay, the moon, we see the moon making a conjunction to the south node, to the north node, meaning that the moon is also squaring Neptune and squaring Vesta and opposing um, the south node. The moon makes things real. It brings the more collective energies that we're feeling them personally. The moon is sort of our personal experience through this. So we will be continuing to hear about vaccines, and we'll be continuing to hear about all the issues around who gets the vaccine and who's getting the vaccine and all of that. So a lot of the medical stuff is not going to get better. It's going to continue to be pretty intense. The next day is the full moon. It is the 29th. And here we can see that we're actually not quite at the full moon. I will bring it to the full moon point. Here is the sun in Capricorn. The moon has now moved into Cancer. And I'm just going to bring this, I think, an hour at a time forward, and we can see, now you can see things are starting to move, but I want you to pay attention to the moon, the sun here and the moon, and watch the moon as it gets closer and closer to making its opposition to the sun. You're almost there, almost there. Okay, well, a little bit more. Okay, so this is pretty close. Here's the sun, here's the moon, here's the sun. It still has a little ways to go. Let's put that forward again, and we're just gonna go, we're gonna go fast here. All right, and what is it, 8:50, 8:23, and I'm just doing this, what am I doing this? A minute at a time. Actually, I could be doing this 10 minutes at a time, I guess. It'd be a lot faster. Okay, we're getting there. Okay. Here we go, right? Oh, a little bit more. There we go. 8:53, 8:53, 8:53. So here we have the full moon here in Cancer and Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn, the moon in Cancer, the sun in Capricorn. This particular full moon is an awareness around security. It is the moon in Cancer is our feelings. The moon in a mundane chart is how people are feeling. And so there is an awareness. These full moons are always points of awareness. The new moon of this lunation cycle was actually an eclipse. Now, some people are calling this one an eclipse as well. And let me just see how close it is to the node. Yeah, it's pretty far away from the node. So I personally wouldn't call this an eclipse, but it's certainly a culmination energy. And we can see that Chiron here is actually square the nodes, square the full moon axis here. We can still see, we still have this giant square. That's not going to go anywhere, as I've said. And let's see if there's anything else. I am going to do something specifically on the full moon. So I just wanted to sort of bring you to this place. Okay, so let's do this. And I'm going to bring you into the 30th. And the big story on the 30th is Venus making a square to Neptune. Venus making a conjunction to the south node, a square to Neptune, an opposition here to the north node, and then a square to Vesta. This brings in our compassion, Venus, our our love of truth here, Venus in Sagittarius, this becomes very personal for us with Venus here. Now, when Venus conjuncts the South Node, a relationship from the past could come in um, to be sort of put through the gauntlet of this giant square. We can see here, we also have a lovely fire trine here, It is with the MC here, and Juno in Juno is the archetype of relationship and the powerful feminine. It is in a trine to Chiron, the wounded masculine. So we have the powerful feminine in alignment with the wounded masculine. And we'll see how that manifests itself. But the square between Venus and Neptune can bring confusion. It is a last quarter crisis in consciousness square. This is an opportunity, if you have a relationship that you have been looking through with rose-colored glasses, this could be an opportunity for you to see what's really going on, and to make a change if change is necessary. So this is a crisis in faith, and it could simply be a crisis in faith, as Venus in Sagittarius can be a love of faith, or a love of religion, or a love of spirituality. Neptune in Pisces is the oneness, and so the oneness of all things will always beat out any kind of religious perspective. Because religious perspective is sort of man's view of things, whereas Neptune is the divine. So there's that. Okay, and let's go another day. Okay, this is 31st. This is New Year's Eve. The sun, I mean the moon, excuse me. The moon is going to move into Leo. It's right at the end. So let's move it forward a little bit here. Let's do some hours here. So we can see here's the moon still in Cancer, moving through Cancer. It moves into Leo, still in Cancer. And there it is. Now it's moved into Leo. And what's going to happen is once it moves into Leo, it is going to make oppositions to Saturn, opposition to Jupiter, opposition to, this is Pallas Athena. So these oppositions, it actually, while it was in Cancer, made an opposition to Pluto. So oppositions are awareness. So we are coming into we're leaving the new year, the old year, but with an awareness of sort of where we stand personally, Leo, and collectively. We also have on this day a square between the moon and Uranus. And let me see, I believe it's this day. Yep, still this day. I believe this is one of the last aspects of the year. Oh, actually, no. The moon Uranus occurs next year. Okay, so the first, let's see, I have my new calendar. The first aspect of 2021, the first major aspect of 2021 is a square between the moon in Leo and Uranus in Taurus. This is a first quarter crisis in action square. The moon in a mundane chart is the people. Uranus is revolution. This is a revolutionary time for the people, and that's how we start the year. Goodness gracious. The next aspect that we make for the year is a sextile between Mercury and Neptune. Here we have Neptune here in Pisces. We have Mercury here in Capricorn. This is a 300-degree sextile. It has the energy of Aquarius, and so this is an opportunity for us to be compassionate. This is an opportunity for us to work toward the common good if we choose to do it. Talks, and this is about talking about it. So and then on the 2nd, which is the last day of the week we're looking at here, and let me go day. All right, January 2nd here. We have the moon in Leo. The moon will be making trines to Venus and to Mars in Aries, creating a fire trine. We're going to have a fire trine here. There's already the start of one between Venus and Mars. And so this is a highly well, fire can be inspiring, fire can be irritating. And remember, we still have this giant square here. So that is something that we need to take into consideration. Vesta is starting to move away from this square a little bit. It's not as tight as it was, but it is still pretty tight with the nodes. It's a little less tight with Neptune, but we're still going to feel this energy. X marks the spot, folks. X marks the spot. And when I see these giant squares in a chart, I know that this is an opportunity for us to move through a portal of some sort, a doorway of some sort. And for some people, that doorway is going to be the doorway to the other side, but not for everybody. And we're all going to be sort of given the opportunity, if we take it, to move to a new level of understanding. Because that's what the mutable signs are really about. It's about meaning. It's about understanding. It's about humanity. And it's about seeing how we are all connected. So pretty crazy week. A lot of very revolutionary energies to end the year and start the year. And each Sunday I'll take a look and see what holds for the rest of the week. So this is the end of the what's ahead for the week astrology portion of this talk. So let me get to the reading now. Okay, hi. All right, so let's take a look. Now that we've looked at the astrology of the day, of the week, let's look at what's happening using the cards. And I am using my witches. What is this? The new card, the new cards I have. Did I do with them? All right, let me just shuffle these up. Kind of big and bulky, so they're a little hard to shuffle. I don't know why I can't find them. I just had them here. I just had the box here. So this is for the week December 27th to the 2nd of, let's see what we need to be aware of. I think I'll do a truncated Celtic cross. I like those for these short readings. Just okay. So So the first card up is the Ace of Air. The Ace of Air. This is a harp made of bones, actually. Bones. Challenged by 16, which is love. Excuse me. We have the 4 of Air at the root. We have the 3 of Air in the past. The 2 of Air in the sky. And the Witch of Fire. The Witch of Fire here. All right, so let's take a look at these cards. What are these cards saying to me? So the first 2 cards are always the situation and the challenge within that situation. And so the Ace of Air is the birth of an idea. It is based on, as I would read it in this deck, it's based on all that has come before. The sound, the song, the note that comes from this harp could not come from this harp if this harp wasn't, this specific harp wasn't made of bones, we'll say. Okay, so there's this energy of, in a way, this card, in order to create this harp, there had to be death of some sort, right? So there had to be some sort of transformation had that occurred, some letting go, some getting down to the bare bones of it. And I think that we are experiencing that at this time. We are getting down to the bare bones of the situation. And the crossing card being the love card. The love card really is about choices, the choices that we make. And so the bare bones of it is our destiny, sort of, our destiny depends on the choices that we make, which sounds kind of ridiculous because that makes total sense, right? But a lot of times we don't feel that way. We feel like the situations that we find ourselves in are not of our making. But in truth, they are all made of our making. It's just that, are you co-creating consciously, or are you co-creating unconsciously? Are you accepting the ideas of what everybody else is saying, or are you thinking for yourself? And in that thinking for yourself, is it in alignment with, bringing things forward in a positive or more collective, common good way? Or is it, it's more of a self-aggrandizement that you're doing? At the root of this, we have the 4 of Air. And this is, this card is about giving, as I see it, giving each other space to think what we want to think, to expand our ideas. We can see that these trees are relatively close to one another, and yet they are still far enough apart to all grow tall and high. And we have at the top here, I don't know if you can see that there's an eagle with its nest here. And so this is about any view that we need to take from a higher perspective. So this week, as it comes to us, we need to look at things from a higher perspective. This isn't about being down on the ground. This is about looking at the big picture, In the past, we have the 3 of Air. This is something is leaving, an idea is leaving. This is also, with all these herons here, this could be symbolic of souls leaving, right? Souls leaving. Yeah, let me see what this is here. There's a plant here that I wish I knew what it was. It's probably in the book as to what it is. But there's also, we see these three herons, and there's a hill here, and their footprints. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. There's their little footprints in the hill. And so even though we leave, souls are leaving, they leave footprints, right? The things are left behind, ideas are left behind, things aren't forgotten. So the lessons and the challenges, and the Three of Air can be a very painful card. It is the Three of Swords in other decks, and we know that's the heart with the three swords. And so this is to a certain extent about heartbreak. And there's been a lot of heartbreak actually in this year for many, many people on so many on so many levels, and not just this year, but this year has certainly culminated it. What's in the sky is the Two of Air, and this is we have a little porcupine here, and there's an innocence and a sweetness about porcupines, but you know they also have quills. And so this is a reminder to keep our innocence, yet stay protected. And then we have this tree behind it with these two major branches. And it's almost as if this is creating a, almost like a heart, I think, a heart. And so this requires us to uh, stay, stay sensitive, stay innocent, and yet not to forget to put out our quills if we need to. Um, and so a way to keep yourself safe and aligned with the child within, and yet be protected. Be protected. This is also, we also have dandelions here, and dandelions are very good for liver detoxification. And so this may be a time when a good liver detox would be good for you. The liver is where we hold our anger. And a lot of us a lot of us have been angry. And then what do you do? Like you're angry, and what do you do? What can you really do? A lot of people are swallowing their anger. And so this is a time to really to no longer sort of but to utilize the energy of anger, because anger is really just energy unfocused. Find a focus for that anger, find a focus for that energy to do it, but in such a way that you're not, it's not about being against something or somebody, but how do you utilize that to your creative advantage? The Witch of Fire, the Witch of Fire, and here she is. She has it looks like a python going around her, symbolic of the Kundalini. She has her incense burning and her candles. This is about focused intention. This is about focused intention and creativity. And so I would say from these cards, the best for the for this week ahead is to be responsible for the choices that you've made. And then if those choices have brought you to a good place, continue making choices like that. If those choices have brought you to a place that's not really helping you, choose something different. Of course, with the love being the crossing card, we could always choose love above all else. Know that none of the pain and suffering that we have gone through, it doesn't just go away. It has imprinted upon us. It is imprinted upon our hearts and our minds. And I would say that we just can't let the past, we can't have it be for naught. We can't have it be for naught. We cannot go back to the old ways. We know that. Um, as much as we would like things to calm down, um, things aren't really going to calm down. So I think the best thing that we can do is to take that, our prodigious energy, in some cases our anger, and focus it in a productive way to bring forth the change and the realization that we are in this together and that we can work this out. This is not just a one person thing. This really is, we need to have collective solutions for our collective problems, and utilize this energy. So when you find yourself angry or frustrated, I want you to do something creative. I want you to do something that's going to focus that anger in a way that it helps you instead of harms you, and do the liver cleanse. I think a liver cleanse would be a great way to end the year, actually, and start a new one. All right. So that's the card reading for the week of December 27th to January 2nd. Now, to round off this reading, I'm going to pull a mystical shaman oracle card. We're only going to pick one. So I've been shuffling for a bit here now. What energy do we need to, what do we need to be aware of for this upcoming week, the 27th of December to the 2nd of January? What is it that we need to? The corn. 10. The corn. Okay. It's here somewhere. One second. Okay, so this is what this says. This is what this says. All right, I'll hold it up so you guys can see it, and I'll read this to you. Corn represents the mother of sustenance and tangible abundance. This symbol represents material prosperity in the world of form that provides stability and sustenance to many. There is more than enough. Interesting. You planted a beautiful field of dreams and worked hard. Even in moments when you were losing faith, you continued. Now the spirit of the corn comes to honor this and show you a bountiful harvest. This is a time to reap the rewards of hard work and trust, whether those rewards are financial or the kind of prosperity measured in quality rather than quantity. You are so blessed when this symbol appears. Don't forget to share your good fortune. Beware of shortcuts to your dreams or a fast track being offered to you now. Be especially mindful of your feelings of entitlement or an expectation to get something for nothing. This is a time for gratitude, perseverance, and humility. Be prepared to work towards your goals and plant the seeds of your intentions consciously and respectfully. Release any insecure thoughts of scarcity, feeling that there is not enough, or worry that someone else could take what is yours. Know that the universe will always provide, but you must be in a relationship with it in order to receive. You will reap what you sow. Take heart, even if you don't plant well and have conjured up the illusion of a drought. There is always a new season to begin again. And so I think this is a valuable reminder to us that we live in an abundant universe. And a lot of what we are seeing and hearing about, while it is the reality of the situation, there are people who are hungry. There are people who are being threatened with homelessness. That is true, and that cannot be denied. However, that being said, we do live in an abundant universe. And if we allow the structures that prevent us from hooking into that or connecting with that, um, then we can find uh, our own solutions and also our and collective solutions. And so this is a time perhaps of scarcity, but it is not an end. It is a new beginning. And it's going to look pretty bleak, I have to say, I think, this week. But remember that you have the power to create a different or co-create with the universe a different way. And sometimes it's just a matter of looking at things from a little different perspective that changes the energy and allows the abundance to come in. Many, many years ago, I did a women's retreat week, and I was lucky enough to do it with Starhawk, who wrote The Spiral Dance, Margot Adler, who wrote Drawing Down the Moon, and Louisa Tish, who wrote Jambalaya. And we were doing some ceremony in this group, and Tish did um, she used the cowrie shells. It's a technique of divination. And I'll never forget what she said in that divination. She said, before the corn can grow, it must rain. It must rain for the corn to grow. And how she saw it was that we must feel our feelings, cry our tears, and allow that to nurture the soil so that something new can grow from it. And I think that's a perfect message for the ending of a year and the beginning of a new one. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you like this, if I could tweak it. This is an experiment, so, and I will try my best to keep up with it as best that I can. You know that my life isn't always my own. Whose is, right? Who really gets to do that? So much love, many blessings. Thank you for all your beautiful gifts, all your beautiful sentiments. Thank you for those who send me their psychic impressions. I do appreciate those. I get readings all the time, which is cool. And thank you for following me in this 2020, um, this year of crisis, this year of opportunity, this year for building, and this year for seeing the possibilities of a new and different future. Much love. Namaste.